So it seems my last episode kicked over the proverbial hornet's nest on the right with actually people that I'm supposed to agree with and be, in common ground with. And I half expected it because a lot of people, for some unknown reason, think that if you speak out against anything that the administration does, that you are no longer a Trump supporter or you're a liberal Democrat. They never give us a thought to the fact that you might just be a conservative and you disagree with a certain policy or a certain thing done. But you see, that's the joy of being a conservative. And it's part of why I won't ever vote Democrat or be associated with the Democratic Party. Is see, after passionate debate with somebody over a 16-second clip, I feel like we walked away with a little better understanding of each other's position in the matter. And true to their word, they said they would be my very first follower on True Social, and they actually did it. That's pretty awesome. That's why I like being a conservative. We can have a passionate and heated debate and go back and forth, but at the end of the day, I feel that we can walk away either on common ground or both thinking about what the other one had to say. So shout out to JD Randall for following me, even though we had a very passionate and heated debate over a 16-second clip. Now that video, the full video, has actually garnered a lot of people standing back and seeing what I had to say, and a lot of positive comments. There were also the liberals that jumped in and said, MAGA's this, MAGA's that, you all got duped, Trump's this, Trump's that. Well, you know what? I don't have to agree with his personal doings in his own life, but I do agree with a lot of the things that he's doing for America. Yes, he's lied about certain things, and yes, some things haven't been fulfilled yet, but it's still early in the game. With that said, another reason I cannot get behind and do not want to be associated with the Democrat Party. And I have to ask, if you are a Democrat, what in the hell is wrong with you? You see things like this: homosexual Democrat mayor arrested on child sex crime charges. The Democrat Party's full of this, and I'm going to pretty well explain my opinion of why I think it's full of this. Former Pennsylvania Mayor Chad Allen Carr, the founder of a local LGBT pro group, faces criminal felony charges for enticing an underage boy into sexual acts, grooming him since he was a preteen, and other heinous crimes. The headline says it all. I don't want to be associated with people like that. And that's pretty well what the Democratic Party has turned into. It's the pedophilia party. It's the nasty party of let's chop up our kids for no apparent reason other than we're fucking stupid party. And it's all because you guys want to follow DEI and affirmative action hires and elections. You guys give a shit more about stupid stuff like, I want to be the first homo whatever erotic mayor. You guys champion that shit like that. That's a resume. It's not going to get the job done. It's, oh, we want to be the first to win that trophy. So you will put any sicko whack job in place only to years later or a couple years later find out that they're actually a fucking degenerate that nobody wants around them in society. It's just like, imagine this. This one also takes the cake. Oregon principal who praised Charlie Kirk assassination jailed for child pornography. Go figure, some asshole retard that championed the assassination of somebody with a different political idea is into child porn. That took a lot to figure out was going to happen. I mean, who champions something like the assassination of Charlie Kirk? He was killed for his ideas, for his political ideas. I cannot be associated with a party that aligns themselves with that garbage. Child molesters, murderers, illegals, voter fraud, all of it. That is the left. That is the Democrats. If you don't believe in that, I suggest you switch parties or at least go independent and get away from them. I don't really care how you feel about Trump, and I really think a lot of this stuff is just, oh, we hate Trump, so we'll vote for anybody but Trump. You guys are stupid. You're electing idiots like this, or putting them in places like a principal. You're putting them around children. No matter what you say, even the right says, we got to protect our kids at all costs. Why would you keep voting for sickos? It shows that all this bullshit from the left is nothing more than a mental disorder, and it's destroying our society. They are literally destroying our society, putting people in power that like to hurt children based on what, a DEI election or higher? That's all that is. That's all that is. And no matter what you say, anyone that would champion the assassination of somebody because of their political differences, they're damaged in the head. That shows complete and total mental disconnection somewhere. You want to kill somebody because of their idea. And that movement resonates with a huge part of the population. You think that person deserved to die and you cheered on the death of a father. You're sick. You're sick. And I was not surprised a bit that you were nailed with child porn distribution and all that good shit. You're a disgusting person. But in the downside, he was only sentenced to 5 years. I have a different punishment I think you should be given, and it's in one of my other videos. I believe it's the one where I talk about drug boats and a West Virginia Senate bill and what we decided would be a good idea for child molesters and people that murder people, juveniles under the age of 16. Yeah, go find that video. That's the one I think this deserves. Don't mess with our children. I will stay on that stance. Don't matter. The Democrats just keep electing and championing people like this. I don't see how the Democratic Party can grow. There's too many people out here wanting common sense to flourish again, honestly. And it's only common sense that we don't DEI or affirmative action hire or put people in roles based on DEI and affirmative, because I've already said it, but I'm going to repeat it. Because they want to look like they're so inclusive, they put up these dipshits that, oh, they want to be the first homosexual or lesbian or black or this mayor or governor or whatever. It's not based on qualification. It's based on stupid shit like race, gender, sexuality. What you do in your house behind closed doors, I could give a shit less about. I want to know what your policy is, but that's not what Democrats care about. They care about being the first. Inclusiveness. I keep saying it. Take the coexist bumper sticker off of your vehicle because you don't want to coexist. Democrat champion Charlie Kirk's assassination. Attempted assassinations on the president. Just because you don't like him? You don't agree with his policy? I mean, come on. But you want to coexist, right? It's us people, the conservatives or the people on the right, we're the ones that can't coexist. I haven't seen us taking shots at political opponents of the right. I don't see us taking. We don't go out and try to assassinate, unalive our political opponents. And like I said, I could have an extremely passionate debate with somebody that was a conservative or MAGA Republican, whatever they want to consider themselves. As a conservative, I could have a passionate debate with them. And at the end of it, walk away with the fact of, I don't hate you because of your idea. I just want you to think about my opinion and I'll think about yours. And maybe we can find some common ground. We're already supposed to be on common ground, but we were set apart by a few different things. I don't agree with this policy. I don't agree with all the infighting. And I said it. No big deal. This is just my stance. It's my stance. I'll debate it with them. I'm passionate about it. They were passionate about theirs, but we walked away. And the people that watched the full video, most of them agreed with where I was coming from. A lot of them, I have had a lot of good positive feedback on that video. I've had some negative, and I've just said I respectfully disagree with you, and basically this is my stance, and I'll think about it. I even had somebody say, well, can you see my point? Yes, I can see your point. I can see your point. Oh, do you know if you're being propagandized? Do any of us know if we're being propagandized? Really? I mean, everything is so biased. It's either one way or the other. That's why it requires critical thinking on both sides. But this, I am steadfast that the Democrats are nothing more than satanic, murderistic, pedophilic cultists. And if you're in the Democrat Party, I feel sorry for you. I do. To sit there and tell me, oh, well, I won't vote for Trump, this, that, and the other, I'll vote for a Democrat. Well, wow. You are associating yourself based on DEI elections, DEI hires, and pedophilia and cutting up kids for no reason, which leads me to another one, the Save America Act. I mean, I love it. I love it. This is awesome. I mean, it is. If you can't be for the Save America Act, I don't know what's wrong with you. And I love that they expanded on it. A senator moves to expand on the Save America Act with Trump priorities, and this is what I love. This is I can support. This I can get behind this. I can rally behind this. Trump priorities. Now understand that Trump priorities. To me, this is a make America or America first priority. This is an agenda. Eric Schmidt announced he will introduce a substitute amendment to Save America Act aimed at incorporating additional priorities backed by President Donald Trump. The amendment would expand the election-focused legislation to include provisions addressing men participating in women's sports and gender transition procedures for children alongside voter identification reforms. The American people want to see a return of common sense, Schmidt said. In a statement, I've worked closely with President Trump and the White House to introduce a substitute amendment that will save our elections, save women's sports, and save our children. Beautiful. My hat's off to you, Schmidt. I agree. I agree. It should. That would save America. I know people, and I said it in my last episode, my last video, whatever you want to call it. I know people will jump on here and say, well, because they want to cheat. You have to show ID to buy cigarettes, to buy beer, to buy a car, to buy a house, to do all these things. I get tired of hearing each side scream how illegitimate the other side is. I don't want illegals voting for who our president is. If we actually get the Save America Act through, which I hope we do, and rhinos like Murkowski stalling, we know the Democrats are going to try to make it dead on arrival. But the Save America Act is a no-brainer. I mean, honestly, if you can't see how the Save America Act is a no-brainer, do you realize 80% of the population, a CBS News poll, 80% of the population back voter ID, only 20%, and by not doing it, the Democrats are literally going against what their constituents want. People like Murkowski voting liberal with this, you're going against what the majority of the population wants. You work for us. We are your constituents. You are hired and paid by us. It doesn't matter what you want. Your constituents, 80%. So that means 80% of the population, that would have to include Democrats, want voter ID, probably because they're getting tired of hearing us say that the elections are rigged. And I think they'll find out that if they pass this, the only reason they don't want to pass this is because they don't want to lose. Because just like Schmidt and them said, America wants common sense. We need a return to common sense. These radical leftists out here voting to chop up their kids, that's stupid. There is no such thing as a transgender child. They are too young. They don't even know. I don't think there's such thing as a transgender adult. In my opinion, I think this is all that want to fit in and be cool shit going on. And it's a mental disorder. It's stupid. It's why I cannot associate myself with a Democrat. No matter how much I argue with a Democrat, I can never walk away on common ground. Ever. Ever. I always walk away so pissed that they are so dumb. Like, the only thing they can do is, it's like they can't form their own opinion. And I have ran into it a little bit on the right, but it's always a Democrat or a liberal. Like, you cannot have a passionate debate with them and walk away with some sort. You don't walk away thinking. You walk away irritated at the world, saying, how the fuck can somebody be so stupid? I thank God Trump's opening the mental institutions back up, because that some bitch is going to be in one. That's exactly what you walk away thinking. Like, you can't even break the surface with them. They're just going to spit out the next social justice talking point. And it's all these focus group tested talking points. It's like they can only spit that over and over and over and over and over again. If you try to get them out of their realm and try to get them to understand anything that takes common sense, it's over. And maybe a majority of some Democrats aren't this, but they're associated with that. Maybe that's why they're leaving. Maybe that's why they're coming to the right. We've seen it, a major switch in parties, but that's not to say that some of them are just going to stay there and vote against. Even like maybe if Vance comes up and runs for president, hope he does. I think he'd be a good one. They're gonna vote against it just based off the fact of who a person is. I honestly think a lot of this is just a hate Trump, so alienate, 3/4 of the population because of one person. But before that person was actually a president, they loved him. They wanted to be like him. They went to him for donor money and stuff. And it's like, how do you go from championing this guy to vehemently hating him? It's a disorder. Why? Because he ran as a Republican and everybody wants to blame Republicans for this, that, and the other. There's a uniparty on Capitol Hill. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. If you can't see that, there's people out there that they don't realize, and 80% of America wanting voter ID shows there's a uniparty on the Hill, and they don't give a shit what their constituents want. They're going to go with big donor. Or they're going to go with radicals and radicals on the left. Oh, we want migrants to vote. I know people's going to say, oh, they want to cheat. That's the only way they can win. I understand that point, but my point is they're not doing what they were hired to do. That's why you get rid of them. That's why you primary them. That's why you that's why you vote them out, and you get somebody in that will do what you want, that will do what the majority wants them to do. The loud minority has been screeching for so long that people are tired of hearing it. And the more radical they get, the more you see people coming over to our side. And no matter what you say, there's no reason there should be men in women's sports. None whatsoever. Like, all it takes is opening up a science book and seeing that a man's bones are more denser than a woman's. Our frames are built for battle, not childbearing. We have different roles, and my channel is not just a political channel, it's an opinion channel, and I talk about things like prepping and societal collapse and stuff. If you was to actually read a study, you would see that if society would collapse and we didn't have all this media and stuff out here trying to say that it's okay for men to be women and women to be men, you would see people effectively, and it would take a little bit of time, but people would naturally fall back into their gender roles. They're true what they're born with between their legs roles. Men, the testosterone levels would probably come back up and they would be more manly, more masculine. They would take on the warrior figure, where women would go to more traditional homemakers, caretakers. Honestly, been studied, and it proves, like I was getting into the whole bone density. Our muscles, our tendons, we're built on a gladiator, and that's what I'm going to call it. We're built on a gladiator frame. We are meant for war. Women are not. You take a man, a 150-pound man versus even okay, make it a 150-pound woman of the same size. You put them in a ring, throwing dick beaters at each other. That dude's probably going to crush bones in her face and hurt her because of his strength. We are built far more superior when it comes to that sort of role. You take 180-pound, let's say, safety or linebacker, and you put 110-pound female running back in there, she's going to get torn ACLs, her legs broke, if he doesn't rip her head clear off her frame when she breaks through that line, if she can even make it through the line, because it's not going to happen. I do not want to see boxing where some dude that wants to fake being a girl try to box a girl. He's going to decimate her. I think it's already happened. It's absolute lunacy to want men to compete with women, men to be in women's bathrooms. I preached this in one of my videos. Do you want to actually give the perverts an opportunity to see women at their most vulnerable? You are absolutely sick in the fucking brain. You have no mental fortitude if that is your stance. None. You cannot convince a person with common sense that it's okay to put men in women's sports or women in men's sports. Maybe something like softball, but even if you watch co-ed softball in these little town leagues, you're going to see the difference in a man hitting a softball or throwing a softball versus a woman. Okay? It only takes a little bit to see the huge difference and disadvantage. The only thing you're going to do is effectively have men decimate every sport. And you can't convince me that any real man wants to compete against a woman and say that I shattered her record. The only men I think that would want to do that would be the fucking losers of the men's sports. The ones that didn't make the team or got hazed or sat the bench or whatever you want to call it. The fucking losers of that sport are the only men that would ever want to compete against a woman because they know they are far superior and can beat them. But they can't compete against a real man because they're a bitch. The end. I'm going to stick on that one. And then wanting to do away with transgender surgeries for kids. Agree 100%. Stop sexualizing our children. Period. The end. The Democrats keep screaming this from the ceiling. Transgender. It's like the furries. It's a mental disorder and you're feeding into it. I cannot stress this enough. Stop touching the kids. Stop brainwashing them. The only reason they want to do it, and I guarantee you half of them don't want to do it. 3/4 of them don't want to do it. It's pressure. It's pressure. It's a, it's a vengeful divorcee mom that's pissed off at the dad that wants to do that shit to get even. When you turn 18, now see, and this is there, here's into this whole ID thing and save America and why it's a good thing, and I think we should do it. Not only can neither side save each other's cheating, we do not allow children to buy alcohol, buy cigarettes, drive cars. Why? They don't have the mental fortitude to make that decision. It's that simple. So if they don't have the mind to know what the effects of alcohol or the effect of smoking or rubbing snuff or whatever the case may be, we don't allow them to just go out here willy-nilly and buy firearms either, because you know what? You have to respect a firearm. And there's another one. You have to have your ID to buy a firearm, but you don't want to have someone voting show their ID. Come on. That's yeah. Stupid. Anyways, children do not have what it takes upstairs to make adult decisions, life altering decisions. I mean, come on, think back to being either a preteen or a teenager. Do you know? I mean, great example. My son was big into monster trucks. Gravedigger was his be all end all whenever he was a kid. But as he got older, it went from like Gravedigger and monster trucks. He still enjoys them. He still likes them. Still thinks they're cool. But that's not his favorite thing. Now it's fishing, his mini bike, basketball. It's changed. I mean, he even played football. I coached him. It just changes. They don't know what they want. That's why they wait till like what, sophomore year in high school to start you in like, okay, so what kind of job do you want? Well, let's see if we can get you credits towards that. Because you have to wait till your mind is able to be wrapped around things, soak it in. And even then, I mean, how many people change their majors? I know adults that don't know what the fuck they want. So yeah, I agree 100% with the SAVE Act, and anybody that's voting against it, you're against America. Anybody that's stalling it, Alaska, get rid of Murkowski. She's trash. You need to get rid of her. 80% CBS poll. CBS poll. We're not talking about a right-leaning organization. A CBS poll. 80% of America wants voter ID. We want you to be a legal voter. That stops a whole lot of fraud. That stops this whole debate on who's legitimate and who's not. And I think you're going to find people like Schumer, AOC, all these liberal dipshits that have zero common sense are going to be out, and they're going to be replaced with probably majority Republicans. Look at the buyer's remorse in Virginia already. I mean, they just got this super ultra liberal CIA governor, and guess what? In a runoff race, look what happened. GOP took a great big, what was it, 22-point lead? I think it's 22-point lead. Yeah, it was like +7 for the liberal until this liberal CIA governor started changing a bunch of shit, and then people was like, man, that's a little extreme for me. And then it's like +25 for the GOP. Whew, big time upset on that one. And everyone's like, oh well, now they're worried. They should be worried. People don't like that shit. People don't want you cutting up your kids. They don't want pedophiles. People's getting tired of this DEI bullshit. I just showed you, and these are reasons why I can't be a Democrat. I just can't. I can't. I'm going to be a conservative, and if I have to continue to argue and debate with people on my side of the aisle, I'm going to. But maybe they'll think critically. And you know what? Maybe they'll have a good opinion and a good basis for an argument that I can go think about. And that's why I will always be a conservative. Because I have my own opinion. I have my own brain that I use. I don't follow along with the Borg mindset. So I thought those was some interesting things I wanted to talk about today. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you made it this far in the video, thanks for watching. If you want to support my channel, I'll leave a link in the description. You can even go over to Dubby and get yourself one of their 15 flavors of energy drink mixes with over 20,000 5-star reviews. Put in Matt's Opinion as a coupon code and save yourself 10%. For Matt's Opinion, I'm out.